Hi, this is Mark from Right Line Trading, and I really appreciate your giving me your time this afternoon. And I'm really going to give you a really thorough understanding of cryptocurrency. And I'm going to show you my first cryptocurrency pick, which I sent out last night to our cryptocurrency alert newsletter subscribers. And I'm really going to show you all the entire process that you need to go through in order to do appropriate due diligence before you rush in and buy a cryptocurrency. Now, I do have to unfortunately start with this disclaimer that the information here is for educational purposes only, and we don't take responsibility for any profits or losses that may be incurred. Careful. These investments require careful due diligence. A financial advisor should be consulted. A registered financial advisor and a registered financial advisor should be consulted, and we are not licensed commodity trading advisors. And with that proviso, we're www.rightlinetrading.com, and I'll show you our phone number later. But I wanted to start with giving you a word of warning about the crypto gurus, because they are coming out of the woodwork like cockroaches. I can't go through my Facebook page without seeing 11 of them lined up in a row. They're all self-professed cryptocurrency geniuses. They're all cryptocurrency millionaires, and somehow they are, they have they have special insight into altcoins and cryptocurrency. And I think that cryptocurrency has created a huge opportunity for scam artists. And I normally never start a webinar on this kind of note, but I really have to warn you, and I want you to know that I subscribe to 6 newsletters. I pay a pretty significant monthly fee to see what they have to say. And I'm telling you, it's 99% hype and it's 1% content. They don't really make they don't provide you with really any concrete choices. They don't create a portfolio. You really don't get much. They make $10,000 or more. And during a webinar, they show you nothing concrete. And they all have magic setups. I'm going to show you the technical setup I used to take the trade on the coin I recommended last night, which I purchased this morning on Poloniex. But they won't tell you anything about it. And what I want to show you is how to do your own due diligence and how you can safely trade altcoins and cryptocurrency and really do make a lot of money and do it safely. Remember, there's a lot of people out there telling you that they've made a ton of money, but there's also a lot of people out there that have lost a lot of money. And I can show you the setups. And in fact, the pick that I have today, that you're going to see at the end of the webinar, that I'm going to show you in great detail, could have been purchased and set you up for a tremendous loss. So there's a lot of losers in this area. And Goldman Sachs just denied the right of investors on their platforms to invest in altcoins because they consider them too risky. And the fact is that of the 120 or 30 or so, very few of them are going to be around in 2 or 3 years. They're scams, and they're going to make money for a few people, and they're Ponzi schemes, and an enormous amount of people are going to get beaten up. And what the gurus do is they offer you a dream of quitting your day job, and they all talk about becoming rich. And one of them talked about his life. He goes mountain climbing and he trades cryptos during his mountain climbing pit stops. And then they offer you a deal that's worth $40,000, and they wind up offering it to you for $999. and they're just clever marketers. I mean, one of them, they're all pre-recorded webinars, and one of them, as part of the $40,000 value, valued 4 emails to him to evaluate your crypto trades at $2,000. So if you sent it, so he was valuing an email and his response at $500 an email. And he didn't even say he would answer it. What he said was he would have one of his associates answer it. So it's just all baloney. And this is, and it's really, I think, if you're going to trade cryptocurrency, it's really a worthwhile warning to take heed of, because I'm just going to roll into another area and just give you my own personal experience, where I was involved in what I consider to be not so much as a scam, but a bubble that brought out a lot of scam artists, and that was during the internet bubble period. I was a very, very active trader between 1997 and 2000. I mean, I was on Waterhouse, which is now Thinkorswim, and everything that I bought went up. And I took recommendations from all these guru internet stock newsletters, and they flourished, and they were expensive. And most of them were always right. And it was always buy, until everything collapsed. And I'll tell you a true trade. I made $480,000 on one trade in one day. And I was on a ski trip. And while I was on a ski lift, I put in an order to buy 1,500 shares of Commerce One. Now, Commerce One is gone today, doesn't exist anymore. And I didn't know it, but in the morning, it split 4-1. So I had 6,000 shares. I had no idea it was going to split. And it went up 100 points. And it closed up 80 points. And I had 6,000 shares. I made $480,000 in 24 hours. And in 2004, Commerce One was trading at 50 cents, down from 300 a share, and eventually went bankrupt. So all these internet stock newsletters are all gone. All the ones pounding the table to buy, because eventually everybody got really demolished. And what they kept doing was seeing buy on the way down. If Commerce One was a great purchase at $300 a share, well, when it was $150 a share, it was a steal. And then when it was $100 a sale, it was a giveaway. And then when it was $50 a share, it was a lock, until it went to $1 a share and then 50 cents a share, and it went bankrupt. So all they did was pound the table on these stocks on the way up and then on the way down. And of all those newsletters, none of them are around anymore. And that's what's going to happen to these internet gurus. They're going to pound the table as a lot of these altcoins go up. They're going to pound the table on them as they go down. And when they all disappear, they're going to disappear. And the stocks I traded, Commerce One, Vertical Net, Ariba, Redback Networks, JDSU, JD Uniphase, Qualcomm, Exodus, Lycos, Earthlink, Audible. I traded these stocks all the time. I love the B2B stocks. Every stock on this list is gone except Qualcomm and Audible. Audible, I bought at its IPO price of $6, and it went to $50. And then it came right back to $6. But it was a good company, and it had value, and it stayed. And Qualcomm was up 10,000%. And it fell back to earth, but it's still around today. All these other stocks are gone. This is what we want to avoid when we trade cryptocurrencies. We want to get into the cryptocurrencies that are at the appropriate time, at the right price, and buy the altcoins that 10 years from now are going to be around. I mean, look what happened to the people that bought Amazon and the people that bought eBay. I mean, Amazon took a beating, but if they bought and held, they're now up an amazing amount of money. And that's what my intention is to do, is not to pound the table on these flyweight altcoins that are just going to disappear in a very, very short period of time, maybe a year or two, and everyone's going to go bankrupt. And they're going to continue to tell you to buy more and average down as the coin goes out of business. And the reason it's falling is because all of the owners are pulling out their stake. And they're going to leave us, the commercial investor, as the last group of investors holding the bag when the whole thing collapses. Now, it is really an amazing opportunity. This is a really, really, I think we're in a period of time where this is a tremendous opportunity to make a lot of money. Now, if you want to risk a lot of money, it can make you rich. It can make you rich, but you really have to know what you're doing. Unlike what I did when I traded during the internet era, and I didn't have any idea what I was doing. But cryptocurrencies in general, they are here to stay. They are a new asset class, and they are as durable as stocks, bonds, gold, and they are not going anywhere. Again, you have to be in the right ones. And just a little bit of background. The reason that cryptocurrencies are here to stay, and I don't have this on the next slide, I don't believe, is because this form of payment is just part of the evolutionary process, I think, of civilization as we evolve. I mean, we know that, I don't know, 50,000 years ago, if you saw someone who had killed a deer and you wanted it and you wanted the meat, you went over and you killed the guy and you took it from him. And then eventually, as we became more civilized, we invented the barter system. So there was no real form of currency. If you wanted something, a service, or a product from someone else, you bartered for it. Only it was very cumbersome and very difficult to do. But it worked. And then eventually, we developed gold, we valued silver, and from there, we have fiat currency. Now, fiat currency can be forged, it can be stolen, it can be devalued. Governments can print all they want, and they can take the value of a $100 bill and drop it to zero. These are all the problems inherent in fiat currency. So the next stage in the evolutionary process of transacting for goods and services are cryptocurrencies, because they can't be devalued. They can't be manipulated by governments. They're independent of governments. In fact, there's an Eastern European country that's thinking of starting its own cryptocurrency. So this is really the next evolutionary step in the way that we do business, and it is never going to go away. And we are really in on the ground floor of it. If you think that you've missed out on the big moves, you are very, very wrong. There are huge opportunities still. And a lot of the really good coins now, this has been a very bullish week for cryptocurrencies, and a lot of them that are really flying, and they're up in a parabolic fashion, will eventually fall back to earth. This asset is traded like every other asset by human beings, and we have discernible patterns in the way that we buy and sell everything, from stocks to bonds and to gold, and these will retrace, and we will pick them up on retracements. And when we own a cryptocurrency, we will buy more of it on a retracement. All we have to do is get in at an advantageous price and be in on a coin that's going to be durable. So 10 years from now, you'll still hold it. And hopefully it'll be worth 10,000% more than what it's worth today. Now, just a little bit about Bitcoin. It was introduced in 2009, and it got a lot of negative press because its main purpose initially was for those dark websites and illegal websites to use to exchange goods and services. And I think I have it on the next slide. It was I have it somewhere. And it really didn't gain much attention. And I think I don't know if you're familiar with, but the first transaction was a guy bought a pizza for 25,000 Bitcoin. And I don't know what the value of 25,000 Bitcoin are today, but you could probably buy Domino's Pizza now. So it just shows what's happened. Now, the way that you look at the value of a cryptocurrency is really, I break it up into 3 different sectors. The first is you look at its utility. You look at what the altcoin does. And does it do something functional? And then what you have to do is find all the other altcoins that perform a similar or same function and decide which of those coins does it best. That's the due diligence that takes a lot of work. I had to review 100 altcoins, and I spent 2 weeks looking at every single altcoin. It's very, very difficult because a lot of them have tremendous overlapping technology. They're vying for the same market. And you have to make a determination as to which one is the best. And right now, it's very difficult to do. What helps you, though, is social media. Now, you have to be able to sift through a lot of the posts that are junk from a lot of the posts that are brilliant. And there are brilliant social media posts out there. Now, I'm going to show you very shortly all the websites that you need to have. And I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how to work them, because I want to make this a really practical seminar where you learn a lot of information. I'm going to show you what are the best social media platforms. And all you have to do is type the altcoin in that you're investigating, and it will bring up all the posts on that particular coin. And and there's always a lot of hype. I mean, people love Salt and just a whole lot of other coins. And you're going to see a tremendous amount of hype, but every now and then you're going to see amazingly brilliant posts. In addition, you need to go to YouTube, because there are a lot of idiots that post YouTube videos about altcoins, but there are a couple of guys out there that are very smart, and they do a nice thorough review of the coin, and they just don't tell you they like it, but they provide you with a dozen reasons why, and they provide you with a lot of insight. And it's very time consuming, but you have to do this work. And the third is, I just want you to know, this isn't the guru, the crypto guru isn't going to tell you this, because it's not an easy asset class to evaluate. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Then you have to go to the website and you have to look at who their financial backers are. Who are the tech people involved? What kind of support do they have? Is there a team of brilliant guys and women who are working this altcoin, who are financially committed to the coin? I always look and see if there's a phone number on the website. Some of them have them. I always call and talk to the people on the other end of the line. And if there's no phone number, I always send an email and I ask questions. And if I never get a response, I have to look very carefully at that altcoin as potentially being just a fraud. Because if they're really interested in attracting investors, they're going to respond to the request of an investor for information. Remember, they don't know whether I'm going to buy $100 worth of their altcoin or $500,000 worth of their altcoin. So they're going to be very, very diligent in responding to my emails. If I don't get an email, I walk away. And again, all these tokens can be used for simple currency, but the key really is the data storage networks and the product management tools that they encapsulate. So although you're investing in a digital currency, very, very few of these will ever be exchanged as a digital currency. Most of them will be used for their emerging technology. And that's why the valuation becomes so difficult. If you evaluate a stock, now essentially what they are miniature technology companies wrapped up in a coin. Now, if you want to look at a stock, it's easy. You look at their earnings per share. You look. There's a million metrics you could look at. A stock is required to report earnings on a quarterly basis. It's just got 1,000 different ways that you can value a stock, and none of those metrics are available in digital currency. So it's a very, very difficult technology or really company to make an evaluation for. So there's some guesswork. But if you do a lot of due diligence on their utility, thoroughly look at social media, and most importantly, look who's backing it up, and look who's working it, and look who's working on their code. That's really your clue that this is a digital currency that's durable, it's going to stay, and it's going to grow. Because be very careful, because in terms of creating a valuation for the currency, it's extremely difficult. Right now, it's all based on one thing: supply and demand. And right now, there's a lot of demand, and there is not enough supply, and so the price is rising. But nobody really knows what the value of any of these coins is yet, really. It's all speculation. So I just wanted to go over really quickly what a blockchain is, because you're going to hear about blockchain technology. And if you don't understand it, then you're never going to understand what you're investing in. And it really is a technology that's going to transform the way that we conduct business around the world. And what it is it is a distributed database. And that means that it exists on multiple servers. So let me give you an example of how a blockchain would work and how it works for us. I mean, again, I'll just finish the technical aspects of it, but each parcel of information is kept on a block, and each block has its own individual key, and the miners hold the key to that block because they create the block. So here's how it affects us in terms of doing a transaction. When you, let's say you want to, let's say you want to go into a McDonald's, and I use McDonald's for a reason, because we're going to talk about a coin that is now being used in some McDonald's around the world. And you want to buy a hamburger, and you give the guy a $10 bill. Well, that $10 bill could be fake money. If you get, like I said, you give him a credit card, it might not be your credit card. It could be a fake credit card, and then he's going to lose his $10 because the person who really owns it is going to report it, and the $10 on the card is going to come out, and he's going to get burned. But when you pay with an altcoin, it's verified on 10,000 or 15,000 separate servers that it really does belong to you over a diffuse network that really spans the globe. So it's almost impossible for anybody to forge or finagle with the transaction. And that's why it's so much more advantageous to exchange money for services in the form of altcoins that are located on a blockchain. It's incredibly secure. And remember, Bitcoin has been hacked, but they put a fork in it, and it's never been hacked again. It's extremely tough to hack because you can only hack a block at a time. And there's thousands of blocks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you about nodes, which is really very, very seldom talked about. And we're going to talk about it briefly because you can actually purchase a node on a company that provides you with a fixed return per month on your money. And some of those nodes are very advantageous to purchase. And we'll talk about that later. Let's just stay with blocks and with blockchain technology. Now, as I mentioned, it has incredible security. And remember, it bypasses banks and governments, and it doesn't rely on easily manipulated fiat currencies. And individuals from different countries can use Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin I recommended last night is a platform that is looking to centralize the purchase of all Bitcoins and altcoins, and also be a depository for fiat money so that you holding your digital wallet can transfer your money from paper money to Bitcoin to an altcoin instantaneously and make a transaction with whatever you want. It is vying to be like the Ameritrade or E-Trade or Interactive Brokers of the future. And that's why I think it is such a tremendous investing opportunity. Now, again, it's also autonomy. Bitcoin and all the altcoins are completely decentralized. And it's really advantageous to bypass banks or governments. And if you think about, and as I said, miners confirm the transactions, and that keeps the Bitcoin network rolling without any without any involvement from private parties. And if we look at the history of what central banks have done to fiat currency, we know that all they serve to do is destroy its value. And the first thing that happens when a country goes into debt, and the United States is in tremendous debt, but we remain a wealthy country, so it hasn't hit us yet. But look at Venezuela. Their unit of currency, I believe, is the bolivar. And the bolivar gets more and more worthless every day. So if you are a bolivar millionaire, you now basically can't buy a loaf of bread. Now, if you made your wealth in Bitcoin, the demise of the Venezuelan government, and I'm not going to talk about it's really irrelevant about the political problems with socialism and how they just print money like crazy and all of that. The bottom line is it keeps you away from central banks. There's 21 million Bitcoin. There'll never be more, and there'll never be less. It's a supply and demand process that creates the value of Bitcoin, and governments cannot destroy its value. If a country is involved in geopolitical upheaval, a war breaks out, major problems occur, the currency doesn't get hammered. And I can give you a quick example. When 9/11 occurred, I was holding a lot of the European currency short. I'm sorry, the European currency short. And when the plane hit the building, the value of the US dollar collapsed and the value of all of the European currency skyrocketed. If you're holding the US dollar, you got clobbered. But remember, the dollar is durable, so you could make your money back. And I lost a lot of money. But if you're holding Bitcoin, it's not going to be affected by these geopolitical problems. It creates stability. It puts it outside the loop. And that's very, very advantageous to all of us. I mean, we don't know if someday down the line, the debt that this government accrues begins to catch up with us. And if inflation begins to set in any kind of major way, the value of the dollar will fall, but the value of a Bitcoin or an altcoin will not fall. Again, it's finite. And it acts as a hedge against hyperinflation. Now, Bitcoin, and this is very, very important for you to understand, Bitcoin relies on a community of miners to make it work. And what they do is the miners create blocks. And as they create blocks, they work for it. And the incentive to mine, I used to think, I mean, a year ago when I heard about mining on Bitcoin, I thought they were like using a pickaxe to knock Bitcoin out of the side of a mountain. I mean, I actually thought, I mean, the way they advertise it on the internet, I thought it was a piece of metal. I mean, I'm really serious. I had done no work on it. And when I heard people were mining it, I actually thought there were companies that were digging it up out of the ground. But what miners are doing is miners are really techies. And what they do is they create blocks on the blockchain. And they're rewarded for that in Bitcoin. Now, this is known as proof of work, or POW. And a lot of the altcoins and Bitcoin, I use to refer to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. A lot of them overall work on proof of work, which means that the more work that you do, the more money that you make. And here's the problem with that. Miners have begun to aggregate, and the amount of energy, electricity that's required to mine has skyrocketed. And the miners in aggregate are forcing out the small miners who simply have one really super powerful computer with a lot of CPU and a very powerful video card. They're burning their computers out as they fight for work on the blockchain. So it's aggregating miners. And the amount of electricity now to mine is really astronomically high. And that, believe it or not, that could become a problem around the world because of these fights over mining priorities are really pushing up the stake on becoming a miner. So what some of the altcoins have done, and Ethereum is one of them, and so is Litecoin, is move to proof of stake. And proof of stake, I think, is a better model. And what proof of stake is, well, I just threw in here that right now you can use Bitcoin on Overstock, Expedia, Lamborghini, Dish. There's a lot of companies that right now accept Bitcoin. And you know that Overstock, the company, skyrocketed in price. And it became kind of a pseudo way of investing in Bitcoin was by buying Overstock. And it went up and then it fell. But let me get back to proof of stake. In proof of stake, you put up money. So let's say you put up $10,000 and it buys you so many altcoins in the coin that you want to mine. The amount of work that they give you is proportional to the amount of money that you put up. You're not going to get more work if your computer is stronger. You're going to get more work only if you put up more money. And that money remains in the hands of the company until you decide to take it out, and then you're no longer allowed to mine. And you're paid in the currency, obviously, of the altcoin you're mining. Now, you don't have to have any, you don't care essentially whether it's a long-term stake, because you can convert your payment directly to cash or directly to Bitcoin or whatever you like. But it changes the way that miners are reimbursed from fighting for work, for putting up a fixed amount of money and being allocated work. And I like the proof of stake model better. And I believe that altcoins moving into the future that work on proof of stake are going to have more longevity than those of proof of work. Now, Bitcoin will always be a proof of work based coin, but it's a first mover, and so it'll survive fine. But the other altcoins are going to have problems with proof of work. And it's one of the first things that I look at, along with many, many other metrics. Now, these are just some of the coins that I looked at originally. I looked at Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Neo, Monero, Dash, IOTA, NEM, and BitConnect I'm just going to kick out right now. I own Ethereum, I own Litecoin, and last night I bought the coin that I recommended to everyone in our newsletter service. I'm up 650% on Ethereum. I'm up just under 100% on Litecoin. And I hope at the end of 2018, I'll be up between 400 and 500% on the coin that I purchased. I think this is a digression, and I don't really think that it's important to go over that. And now let me just go over Litecoin a minute, because I think that it really is important. Again, it's a decentralized currency. It acts as a peer-to-peer transaction system, just like all the other coins, and it's been referred to as silver to Bitcoin's gold. Now, the thing that makes it really advantageous is that it's a lot faster than Bitcoin. Sometimes when you want to purchase a Bitcoin, sometimes it takes 15 minutes for the transaction to execute because the system gets bogged down. Right now, there are so many people looking to buy it that it takes a while to execute. So it's a lot faster than Bitcoin. And again, it has proof of stake instead of proof of work, which I like. And their coding, which calls script, uses a lot less energy. And I believe it's a coin that's here to stay for these purposes. Litecoin and Bitcoin have no software value. They don't perform a function. They are simply peer-to-peer transaction methods of exchanging goods and services. They do not perform any software function. They're unique in that way. So Litecoin and Bitcoin can both be successful. Now, it's Litecoin has not yet rolled out, which is really the key, a process called their Lightning Network. And that's the one that's going to allow transactions to take place incredibly quickly. And it really does. I mean, it's referred to as removing friction, but it really does make transactions work faster. So it's going to be better prepared. I mean, it's going to be easier. Let's say you want to buy something for $1.98. I mean, if these coins are going to be established as a worldwide currency, you want to be able to go in and buy a pack of gum for, a pack of gum now is probably like $3, but, for 99 cents. So the system that's best suited to handle millions of small transactions is Litecoin. It's much better positioned for that than Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin can still upgrade its speed, but there's no proposal to do so. And this is what gives Litecoin a rolling advantage. And this is why Litecoin is a worthwhile investment. Now, I don't think this is the time to make the move because Litecoin is in the process of a retracement. Let's see where the retracement stops. It was at $315 or $320. I mean, I purchased it at $158, and it was about $350 a coin. It's come back now. And when it comes back more, I can't show you now what the price I'm looking at for it to retrace. I'm going to buy more because I believe that Litecoin is here to stay. And every time it pulls back to support that I calculate myself, I'm going to buy more. Now, Ethereum is really a coin in and of itself because it is a global programmable network, and almost every altcoin works off of Ethereum. And the coin that I'm going to recommend at the end of this talk that I just bought last night uses the Ethereum code to create its software process. So besides creating a decentralized application, it is an extremely powerful platform for creating all of the other software applications. So in essence, every time an altcoin is successful, it gives a boost to Ethereum. Now, I got into Ethereum pretty early, and it was one of the first things. It was a bold move because I did not know as much as I know now, but I'm very happy that I did. If I can get a pullback on Ethereum, I will definitely buy more because as the whole cryptocurrency market grows, Ethereum will always prosper. It has the software backbone that's going to create the technology for every other altcoin that's ever developed. They're called Ethereum dApps, but it's an amazing platform for the execution of everything. And it is my dream to get into Ethereum at a reasonable price. One thing I will not do with any investment is I will not chase it up. It is being driven up right now by the small commercial investor like us, and they're going to get burnt. Actually, they won't get burnt in the long run because Ethereum is a good investment. But I don't want to buy another segment or chunk of it and then wind up getting burnt by being down 25 or 30 or 100% on it and have to wait months for it to come back. I want to buy it on a pullback. I want to wait until it shakes out all the light hands and only the heavy hands are holding it, and then I'm going to scale back in. And I just want to make one more comment about Ethereum and all of the altcoins and the cryptos and the cryptocurrency. If you think that you're too late, remember that all of the big investors are not involved. There was one guy who just made a purchase of Bitcoin yesterday. I saw it on social media. He bought $20 million worth of Bitcoin. He's the first guy, the first major investor. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all of these guys haven't gone near the cryptocurrency market. It is not held in any mutual fund. It is not held by any hedge fund. The hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that are locked up in all of these funds that are invested now in precious metals, in currencies, and stocks, and bonds, at some point in the future will break down and start moving into this network. And when they do, if you think these coins are advantageous now, you have not seen anything yet, because the real wave of money is still yet to come. Now, I really pretty much reviewed this. I mean, this is proof of stake, and I really like the fact that is on that Ethereum uses that. Now, Ethereum has, I'm sorry, it does have one software function. I forgot about it. I'm real sorry. It has perfected the smart contract, and it is going to be the king of the smart contract. Now, there are other altcoins that are vying for their business, and I don't think that they're going to succeed. So if you want to buy there's a million examples, but if you want to buy someone's house, for example, right now, you got to sit down and, I don't know, get doc stamps, and then you got to sit down and you got to settle. And it's a long process, and there are lots of middlemen. I mean, with Ethereum and their smart contract, if the price of the house meets the price you want to pay, the entire transaction is executed instantaneously and the money transferred instantaneously. No checks, no nothing. And the price is so tiny. You can create contracts that have absolute parameters. Civil lawsuits. I mean, there's 100 million of them. I mean, I've been involved in civil lawsuits that took 3 years to execute because one party this puts that all aside. If you make the transaction is final. There's no intermediaries, and it cuts the cost of the purchase. And Ethereum is going to become the king of the smart contract. It already is, and it's simply just going to put a lock on that market. And in the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, you now have investments from Intel, from Microsoft, from Thomson Reuters, from MasterCard, and dozens of other multi-million-dollar companies, and it's growing. And more companies are applying for membership in this Enterprise Alliance. And really what it all revolves around is the ability to transact business via contractual agreements that cut out all the middle parties, execute instantaneously, transfer money instantaneously, and are resolute and not subject to litigation. That is an amazing advance in how we transact business and how we buy and sell things. And that's why Ethereum is really an amazing investment opportunity. We just got to get in at a good price. And I'm going to get everybody into Ethereum in this newsletter. We just have to buy it. We just can't buy it willy-nilly. Now, I also like Ripple, but the problem with Ripple is the same as Ethereum. It is flying, and it's too expensive. And what I like about Ripple is that you can make a payment or a money transfer using different currencies. Do you know how much it takes or costs to send a Western Union, say from the United States to Brazil? They'll charge you $8 or $10 on a $100 transfer or a $200 transfer. You're going to pay between 5 or 10%, especially if you wire the money in dollars and it is wired and picked up in the currency of the country. So it's flipped over. These are really expensive transactions. Ripple charges you nothing. The cost is borne by the user of the service, by the entrepreneur who brings you in to transact business. So you don't pay anything. So if you live in India and you make $25 a week and you want to send $30 to a relative in another part of India, you can do it instantaneously and pay nothing. So it's attracting banks because they want your business. I mean, banks want you to deposit your money there. And it's already got huge banks. Santander is one of the biggest banks in the world. UBS is huge. Bank of America is huge. It's won the support of Google, and it's one of Ripple's earliest backers. This is another currency. It's an altcoin we need to get into. We just need to get into it at the right price. If you can make a money transfer in any currency whatsoever and do it instantaneously and for no money, this is a technology that is here to stay. Ripple is another one on my list of altcoins that are must purchases at the right price, and that's why I put it up. Now, I haven't recommended this yet because it's too expensive, but I wanted to put this up as my speculative purchase, and it's called Potcoin. Now, Potcoin I really like for lots of reasons, and it's up like 7,000%. I mean, you could have bought it for 1 cent, but it went from 4 cents. It was about 34, 35 cents. And the reason I really like Potcoin is not because it has any amazing technology above or beyond Bitcoin or beyond Ripple, but because it's a currency that's going to specifically target the pot industry. And if you think about it, what happens right now, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to make a very large investment in a pot company. Now, a pot has a lot of negative connotations to it. And there's a lot of people, and I think for good reasons, who don't look kindly at companies that, grow pot and institution, and companies that sell it. So you don't want anyone to know about it. You can make the transfer by putting your money into, say, Poloniex, transferring it to Potcoin, and sending it wherever you want without anybody ever knowing about it, including the fact that if you ever go into a Potcoin pharmacy, and I have to say I personally never have, but it's all the exchanges are done in cash. People don't want to write a check and put, oh, this is for my pot, this is for my medical pot dispensary, and people don't want to put it on their credit card because they don't want anybody to see that, even if it's for medical purposes, it's a transaction that people want to keep private. I mean, to some exchange, they could make a Viagra coin Because I don't think anybody wants to go into a pharmacy and purchase Viagra. I mean, I would think it's embarrassing, but it's doubly difficult to buy an exchange and pay for pot. And people in general just don't want it known. And Potcoin allows them to do so. And what Potcoin is vying to do, and it's backed by some brilliant people, is to be the altcoin of the pot industry. They're going from dispensary to dispensary to dispensary to try to solicit them to use Potcoin. They're trying to get major investors to make their transactions in Potcoin. And again, because it's made in this instantaneous fashion, there's cost savings and there's privacy. And this is why I really like this coin. Now at 35 cents, and it may be even higher because I haven't looked at the price, right now it's too expensive. But if it retraces, I would recommend this coin, but I would recommend it on the pullback, not chasing it up. And right now it's a chase, but it's on my list. But this is a speculative purchase. Unlike Ripple or Ethereum, there's a question whether this is going to be around. I mean, it may fail and people may not want to use it, but it certainly has potential. And if it's accepted, it won't be worth 34 cents. It'll be worth $5. That's why it's worth putting a small amount of money into Potcoin at an advantageous price and simply hoping it gains traction. Now, I'm just going to go over IOTA really quickly because I love its Tangle ledger. And this also settles transactions with zero fees. So you can go from device to device. Now, unlike Ripple, Ripple is institution to institution, from bank to bank. IOTA is from person to person. So everybody can exchange money back and forth from their own digital wallet with no transaction fees. And it's done totally securely. It has a very unique business model. It's cost-free. And I feel IOTA is another one I want to get into. But again, they're skyrocketing right now. But they will come back. Now, we're going to switch back and forth because I'm going to show you a lot of practical stuff. I'm actually going to move the slides out for a second because I always found that when I go to these webinars, this is what I never get taught. And this is really the stuff that's really important. And the most questions I get are always the technical ones. People don't know how to do these things. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up Coinbase. Now, you really need to get an account in Coinbase. Now, I can't go into my Coinbase because it's where I have my own money, and I don't want to show you my account. That's bad enough. You have my email address. If you get my password, you can take out all my money. But I have a picture of it. It's a very, very nice user interface. And here is I'm sorry. The other ones we're going to open up and look into. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use them. It's at www.coinbase.com, and here's the platform. And I took out all my data because it's got my bank account number, my credit card information. And at the time I snapshotted this, Bitcoin was 14,457. Here's the price of Bitcoin Cash, which we're not going to talk about, Ethereum, and here's the cost of Litecoin. It's super easy to set up. Once you go to bitcoin.com, honestly, it's super easy. Now, it may take you up to 72 hours to get approved because they're backlogged, but what you have to do is you have to upload a driver's license. You have to confirm your email address, upload some kind of state ID or driver's license, and then you can add a third layer of security. It's a fingerprint, and the fingerprint I think may have gone out with a barcode that you in which you hold your iPhone or your Android up and you scan it. But it's very secure. It's never been hacked. But I would not leave a large amount of money in here. But this is the premier platform. And if you're going to buy or sell cryptocurrencies, you must have a Coinbase account. That's where it starts. And let me tell you, it's very easy to sign up for. Here's inside Coinbase. It gives you, the charting is lousy, but it gives you an idea of how Coinbase did. It gives you its price move up or down since yesterday. And you can change that up here. Here's 1 day. It'll show you the week. It'll show you the month. It'll show you the year. It'll show you all. So, it doesn't have much utility, but for buying and selling Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, this is the way you have to go. And if you want to keep money on the internet and not keep it in your digital wallet, and I'm going to show you the best digital wallet to own, this is the place to keep it. Don't keep it on Poloniex, although I think Poloniex is very secure. This is the best place to keep it. Move it, and you can move it instantaneously out of Poloniex. So it's not really a big deal. Now, CoinMarketCap, I'm again going to shift out. You must have. It is tremendously important. It's coinmarketcap.com. And it shows you every single altcoin and cryptocurrency that there is. And it gives, let me show you what you can do with it. This is very, very important. What you can do is you click on price, and here are the coins in descending order of value. So let's go to Ripple. Let's find one coin that I really like. Let's go to Amnesigo. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go. I blew that. I'm sorry. Let me find Amnesigo again. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just going to I'll put it up here. Here it is. Amnesigo. Now, it shows you its charts, and these charts are pretty decent. Here's a 7-day. Here's a 1 month. Here's a 3 month. And most importantly, it shows you what markets you can purchase it on. So if you want to buy Amnesigo, you can buy it on Bittrex, Binance, Ethanex, but here's my favorite, Poloniex. And you're going to need a Poloniex account. And it's right here. It's, again, as simple to sign up as Coinbase. But you're going to need a Poloniex account, and you're going to need a Coinbase account. And you can open these accounts with $10. You don't have to put any appreciable amount of money in it. And the money is instantaneously transferable right back to your credit card or your bank account. And that would close the account. You can leave $1 in there. So these are the two platforms that you have to have. But let's go back to Cryptocurrency Market Cap, because it also takes you to their website. And here's Amnesigo. It gives you good information. But then when you go to the bottom, you look at the management team. Now, I Googled every manager on this team, and these guys are brilliant guys. It's got one of its advisors is Vitalik Buterin. Now, he recommended Omisigo as his favorite altcoin, and it went from 10 to 20 in 1 week. And then over the course of the next 2 weeks, fell right back to 10, which crushed a lot of traders. But this group of advisors are like the geniuses of the blockchain. So this just gives you an enormous amount of information. In addition, I sent them an email asking them what do they perceive as their next milestone. And I have to remember exactly what milestone I was looking at because they're going to be rolling out a lot of things at OmnisiGo, and they answered me instantaneously. They were very quick, and I really like that. But this is why you need CoinMarketCap.com. It's an absolute necessity. Now I'm just going to go to the next one. Here's what you need. You need Coinigy, and I'll show you its. I will show you its URL. It's just CoiniGy.com. Now we're going to log in the Coinigy. I'm going to show it to you. Now, besides using it as a platform to trade, it's the only platform that I like that actually gives you the technicals in candlesticks. And I like to trade candlesticks. So this is an hour. You go to 4 hours. You go to 1 day. And this is Litecoin right now. So you can make a really nice technical assessment of what you're purchasing, but I like to make it off of Coinigy because this gives me the best idea of who's in control of the market at the current time, buyers or sellers. I don't put any indicators in here because I don't believe they work. Coinigy, if you sign up, even without putting any more money in, and they're asking me to upgrade, but I don't want to. They send you great newsletters on how to use all of their tools, and these are their indicators. And you can add a MACD, you can add moving averages. I saw their webinar. It was like a 10-minute talk. Let me find the indicator for you. On balance volume. I like on balance volume. And what they did, let me see if I can do it. I would have to figure it out, but you can overlay it. But I really like OBV, but what I like to do is overlay it on actual volume. And on balance volume is a nice indicator. I just don't think it has much value when it's tracking price on the chart. You need to look at a higher time frame. But this is a good indicator. So you can put in indicators if you like. So Coinigy is good for its charting utility. Otherwise, I'm not going to use it to transact business. Now, here is another platform that I find extremely helpful because you're going to want to do business. You have to understand how to read charts. So I have set up a series of defaults on Finviz, which is just finviz.com, and it's free. And I set this on stocks. I wanted them to be over 200,000 shares a day, only in the United States, and over $7 a share. Now, these are stocks. This is not cryptocurrencies. But what's its utility? When I overlay my cursor, it brings up a nice technical analysis of the chart. So if I want to say, okay, I want to really learn, I want to be able to practice looking at double bottoms. I want to be able to really understand how to analyze a bull flag pattern or a rising triangle. Well, you can just scroll through hundreds of charts every day. It's sort of like, you do a little bit of homework at night. You got 15 minutes, you don't know what to do. So you just scroll through 35 or 40 of these. And it really gives you a nice idea. I mean, first you have to understand the nature of the pattern, but then you can see how it plays out and the elements you need to really make an informed decision as to when to enter. And I'm going to show you how I traced out the technicals on our entry from this morning. I really like it, and I'm only giving you my best advice. Now, CoinDesk, I like too, because it's social media. And you could get a lot of good stuff from here. And you don't have to scroll. Just put your coin in here. And you get and what you're going to get is a lot of what is usually interesting information that's going to help you decide whether or not you want to move into an altcoin. And there is one of the gurus. He's everywhere. So it's great for information, and you do have to do your social media diligence. And CoinDesk is a great place to do it. And there's one other that I want to show you real quickly. I don't want to overwhelm you here. Now, let's just stay with CoinDesk, because I think that's your number one, the number one site you should go to for information, for blog information. Now, here's an extremely important site, and I'm going to have to do a little. Here is your wallet, and I've changed this since the last webinar. The last webinar, I recommended a different digital wallet. This is the best digital wallet on the market. I have looked at it and read 1,000 comments on multiple platforms. I've listened to 1 million internet gurus, and the one thing they all agree is this is the place to put your money. Now, if you scroll over the picture, you can see that really all it is just a thumb drive. It comes in a big box, but that's all it is. You plug it into your USB, and this is where, let's say you have $5,000 in Bitcoin or in altcoins, but you only want to actively trade 1,000. Well, you take 4,000 of it and you put it on your Ledger Nano. You take it out of your computer so no one can touch it, and you put it somewhere safe where your kids can't flush it down the toilet, or throw it in the garbage disposal, and it's completely safe. I mean, there's some people, and I've read about this. They have so much money invested that they put their Nano in a safe deposit box. This is the best place to store your loot, the money that you don't want to trade. And the reason it's good to keep it handy is because, let's say there's a flash crash and something happens and we get a monster pullback on Ethereum or a big pullback on Bitcoin. I mean, a coin that we know I mean, like when, Donald Trump got elected president and the market fell like, I don't know what, 1,500 points. If you saw that happen, whatever you bought, you became an instantaneous major winner. This could easily happen in this Bitcoin market. If you're in the right cryptos, it's okay because they're going to come back in price. But all you're going to do is have an opportunity to buy the best coins on the cheap. So it's good to have it handy. Unless unless you have $1 million on it, don't lock it up. Okay, hang on. Now, I'm just going to put the slide up because I can't photograph it, but you're going to find this incredibly useful. I love this app. It's for a smartphone. Doesn't matter whether it's an Android or an iPhone. It's called CoinCap, and you can get it for free in the App Store. And what it allows you to do, it does it on a modest scale. It allows you to look at the price of every crypto and altcoin, and it also allows you to create an altcoin watch list. You can create, I think, up to 5 of them. So I have segregated my altcoins, and you can set an alert. So let's say that you put Ripple in your alternate folio 2, and you want to buy Ripple at a 20% pullback. I don't know what price that might be. Well, when it hits that price, if you happen to be holding your phone, and hopefully you are, it's going to set off a big alert for you. So I really like CoinCap. It's the best app, in my opinion. And if you want to keep track of what your altcoins are doing and how they're faring in the course of a day, that's the best thing to put on your phone. Now, they say eventually they're going to let you buy and sell, and they actually have that feature on the phone now, but I strongly recommend you don't do it. It's not secure. I would not use it as a buy-sell application. Maybe a year from now, when we hear that it's been used by let other people test it. It is a secure network. But right now, it still has a tremendous function, and I strongly recommend you download CoinCap. Now, here I'm going to show you, and I actually have to open up my newsletter. I'm going to show you my pick after doing an enormous amount of due diligence. And I'm going to just come out here and I'll show you my altcoin choice. Oh, here we are. Now I actually have to go into my, I thought I put the slide in here, but for some reason it's like missing in action. I don't see it anymore. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go to my iContact. And I can actually show you the newsletter. Hang on one second. Let me go to my dashboard. And here it is. Let me open it up for you. Oh, can't open it there. Hold on one sec. All right, here it is. I'm going to pull it over here. Now, here's my cryptocurrency alert newsletter. It's number 1, the first one I ever sent out. Now, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, so my charting could have been a little neater, but it still tells the story I wanted it to tell. Now, the current price was $20.17. I purchased it around $20. It's down today, but I don't care. Here's its circulating supply. I want it to be between 50 and 1 million coins, no greater. It's got a $2 billion market cap. It's got decent volume, and I recommended the execution platform is Poloniex, and the alternate is— these are 2 very good platforms. Now, here's the technical. Here's that rise on its recommendation by that Vitek, whatever that guy is. Then it fell and created a rising triangle. This is a series of sequential higher lows. But the highs were about the same. But that rising triangle eventually broke out and shoved the price all the way up. Now it's in a smaller rising triangle. Now, we purchased it right off the floor of the triangle, anticipating it to break out above $21.18 because this is a quintuple top. Here's the first top. Here's the second top. Here's the third top. Here's the fourth top. And once you keep hitting these tops, they get weaker and weaker. So taking it off of a rising triangle, I'm looking for a breakout. So here's the complex technical pattern I described. OMG rose sharply to just over 20 per coin, then underwent almost a 100% retracement, which is why we don't chase. Now, you would have bought it here if you knew this was the bottom, but you don't. So it started to create sequential higher lows, and you could have bought the next low, bought the next low, bought the next low, and the next low got you the breakout. But no low came lower than your purchase every time you made more and more money. So price is now at the lower channel of a second rising triangle. So OMG is sitting under a quadruple top. We look for OMG to break this top at 21.80 and shoot upward in a blue sky breakout. Support is at $19. And I just caution that other coins moving up in a parabolic fashion should not be chased. Price will eventually come back to us. And here are the fundamentals. OmniziGo is an open payment platform and decentralized exchange built on Ethereum's infrastructure that creates the ability to buy and sell every cryptocurrency. This is the coin that is looking to be the E-Trade of the cryptocurrency business. It wants to give you the ability to buy and sell every single coin. It hasn't gotten there yet. So this is all in the future. It's also going to allow you, unlike any other platform, to store fiat money in large amounts and store it safely all in one place. It's very decentralized, and they consider it impregnable to hacking. Nothing's totally impregnable, but it's very tough to hack OmniziGo. It seeks to become the world's leading peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchange. It would blow away Coinbase and make it unnecessary. And the reason I like it so much is this is the coin that is currently being used by all the McDonald's in Thailand. And they will accept payment in OmniziGo altcoins. And if the payment method is successful, they're going to roll it out in 36,000 McDonald's stores throughout the world. And countless other retailers are going to follow. So a lot of it is potential, but I like what they want to do. They want to create a platform that allows you to buy and sell every crypto, allows you to exchange fiat currency from dollars to francs to euros. It's basically your one-stop shop to do all your cryptocurrency investing, and at the same time, they're vying to become the decentralized peer-to-peer transaction payment method in the world. Now they're up against Bitcoin. For that purpose, they've got big competitors, but McDonald's is using them and not Bitcoin. So they've got a leg up. And I believe that if any of this stuff comes to fruition, this could be $100 coin. And it took me an enormous amount of work to put all that together. But that is the recommendation in my first issue. Omnisigo. I'm sorry. So let me take that out. Now, it's the same thing I do with my options alert newsletter. I always take all the recommendations. Like, we made 100% in my options alert newsletter. I doubled my money in my portfolio in 2017. Now, I'm looking to do that again in 2018. Now, here's the offer. The cryptocurrency alert newsletter you can purchase for $49. I swear to God, it's going to $79 shortly because it's an enormous amount of effort on my part. The amount of due diligence that I do is just staggering. I didn't send out that newsletter till 2:30 in the morning. Now, we're going to create a portfolio of between 5 and 10 cryptocurrencies. We're going to hold all at the same time. And I'm going to consider it to be a fairly aggressive portfolio. I want to hold all the staples. I want to get into Ethereum. I want to buy more Litecoin. I want to get into Bitcoin. And then I want to hold some of the smaller cryptos. And then I also, in the portfolio, want to go into some of the speculatives, like Potcoin, when it becomes more reasonably priced. There's another one that I really like. And if you don't mind, I'll show it to you really quickly. I mean, I'm giving you away all my secrets. They're not huge secrets, but I have to find it for you. Hold on one second, and I'll show it to you. I think it's a great speculative purchase. Again, I'm just waiting for it to come back to the world. Let me see. Let me close this out. Hang on one second. I don't want to bore anybody. Let me bring up the Amazon thing here, and I'll show you if I can find it. Let me go back to coinmarketcap.com, and let me put in Funfair. I really like this coin. Now it's 16 cents, and we'll take a look at a chart. You see how it's skyrocketed in price. Now it's a real speculative coin. I would not recommend you buy a lot of it, but it has the potential to skyrocket. And what is it? It's a gambling platform. It's a gaming platform. But essentially, it really fundamentally is looking to become, via blockchain technology, an online casino. And I think there's a lot, it's the only potential online casino out there. So I think this has tremendous potential. And it's got really solid management team, and they email you back instantaneously. I think it's got tremendous potential, and I want to get into Funfair, but I'm going to wait for it to fall, and it's on its way down right now, and hopefully it'll come down. It will come down lower. Now, I don't know exactly where the price is. Maybe I would buy it around 12 cents, but I want to buy it cheaper. It's still too expensive for me, but that's another one I'm looking at. So let me go right back to the slides. And I don't fancy myself to be a crypto guru. What I believe is I'm a really solid investor. My options portfolio is off the charts. We were already up an enormous amount in 2018. We've closed spreads on Alibaba, on Avago, on Micron Technology. We are flying on Apple, on Salesforce.com, on Autodesk. I mean, I'm up an enormous amount of money this week on my options because I spend so much time reviewing all the information. I have lots of data feeds that I pay for. So that's how the portfolio is going to work. It's also going to have SMS text messaging in case there's a flash crash, and I see it because I have a data wire, and it alerts me to anything like that. So if we get some kind of massive pullback, you're going to get a text message. I'm going to tell you just what to purchase. And if you're driving in your car, you're going to pull over and run to the nearest drugstore and hook up to the internet and buy something on the cheap. Now, if you want to go over all of this with me in detail, I'm going to show you exactly how to buy from soup to nuts. If you want to know how to work Coinbase, how to work all the websites, how to work Poloniex, how to evaluate cryptocurrencies, there's no fluff. It's a 4-hour Saturday class, and we already have the first one sold out. This is our second one, and it doesn't have any junkola in it. From minute 1 to minute 4 to hour 4, I'm not going to be telling you about my history. I'm not going to be going through a history of Bitcoins. We're going to sit down and we're going to hit it. And we're going to start going through all the software that you need, all the platforms that you need, how to sign up, how to use them, how to become facile at them, how to analyze things using the message boards, how to evaluate an asset, how to look at the technology, to sort of make you a crypto guru in your own right. So that if I make now you get a month of the option of the newsletter automatically. So that if I make a recommendation, you have the ability to do an hour of due diligence over my shoulder and double check me, because you know exactly what to do. And you may become so good at it, you may actually like some coins that I don't recommend. But I'm telling you, when the class is done, you will be a mini cryptocurrency expert, because I'm going to answer all your questions. And we're not going to finish until, that's why there's only 10 seats, because I get so many questions that it winds up going into a 5th hour and plus. But we're not going to finish until all your questions are answered. So let me just see if there are any questions, and then we're done. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, there are a bunch, so hang on. Okay, David, the crypto alert was not sent out via SMS text messaging service. It was sent via email. You should have it in your email. Now, we use iContact, which is a great email service. It might be in your spam folder. If it's not in your spam folder, David, send us an email and we'll send you a personal copy, and we'll make sure you're on the list. So don't worry about that, David. Now, some people are complaining about sound, but I think the sound was good. Sure, David. Let me get that for you. David wants the ticker, and I'll be happy to do that for him. I just don't want to make a mistake and give you the wrong ticker. So hang on 1 sec. I'll tell you what it is. Man, I'm telling you, my whole chart on Amnesi Go has vanished. I've got my Ripple chart, my Ion chart. Here it is. It's here. It's Omisi Go. Now, from that, you should be able to get the ticker. Really easy. I don't want to, start opening up all the stuff, but that's the name of the altcoin. If you just put that into coinmarketcap.com, It'll bring it up for you in a second. OMISEGO, and it'll pop it right up for you. I don't want to. I think I know what it is, but I don't want to give you the wrong ticker symbol. I just don't remember what it is. I hope that's good enough information. I'm sorry about you not getting that. I don't know why. A lot of people are saying there's no audio. Okay, let me. You know what? I'm gonna copy that. Gary, he gave me a URL, and I'm gonna copy that out of there, and I'm gonna look. Hey, listen, let me tell you, Gary, there are a lot of really brilliant people on the internet posting videos. That's why I recommended it as one source of good information. There's some people on there that do an amazing job of analyzing cryptocurrencies. And I'm not going to tell you I'm the only guy out there that has good information, believe me. And you know what? These guys, probably this guy is a very soft-spoken, easygoing guy, and doesn't talk about how he made millions and billions of dollars, but he's just really a smart guy. So I totally agree. Yep. Gary says cryptos are the next gold rush with worldwide crowdfunding, and that's absolutely true. We will send you recorded. It's being recorded. We will send. Good, David. You got it, David. The cost to mine a Bitcoin is $3,300. Thank you, David. I know it's expensive. No, David, we're going to check for you and make sure that you get them from now on. I'm going to have Rory go through this transcript, pull your email address, make sure it's on our list, and send you the one from last night. Ida, you ask a great question. And the question is, what gives cryptocurrencies their value? Just everyone believing in the theory. Ida, what gives them their value is either one, somebody thinks the currency will be used as a peer-to-peer transaction vehicle worldwide, i.e., you're going to be going into the store and you're going to be paying in a specific coin. That's going to give it tremendous value because there's only a finite number of them. And there are going to be people who always want to purchase more. So it's going to send the value of the coin skyrocketing. Or its digital purpose, its software wrapped around the coin, i.e. it's a casino. And you believe that a casino on blockchain using blockchain technology will draw millions of people from around the world who want to gamble in a secure way using really advanced blockchain technology, then that's going to create value for that coin. And remember, they're probably going to only let you gamble in their currency. So you're going to have to go in. It's Funfair. Buy Funfair altcoins, gamble with them, and when you're done, you can take the money, cash out, and leave. But the more money the more people that are in there gambling, the more Funfair altcoins that are locked up within the casino. And it's going to drive the value of that altcoin up really high. And as more people move into that sector, it's going to get busier and busier. The one altcoin software that dominates the casino industry is going to be a massively valuable coin because of its technology and the use of its altcoin within the casino. That's what gives it its value. Like I said, there is no price to earnings ratio. There's no quarterly earnings. You simply have to evaluate the technology, see who the developers are, look at the website. It's a lot of due diligence because this is a much harder investment to make, because it's a lot harder to value the real value of the coin. But you know what? The real value of the coin is what the market bears. But if it's way overpriced, we want to wait for it to come back. And on Potcoin and on Funfair, I'm waiting them to fall in value, and then I'm going to recommend them both as speculative purchases, because I think that the secretive movement of money into the pot arena is something that people will gravitate to, and I believe that gaming is so huge. And one of the big things about gaming online is a lot of these casinos are scams. To do it on blockchain technology will draw a lot of people who now know that they can do gaming safely. And I would bet you that the gaming fees are extremely small. So I think it has tremendous potential. Yeah, Gary wrote 2 days ago, someone bought $1 billion worth of Ripple. I didn't know that. Thank you. Listen, I think Ripple is great. I tagged it as another one of my must owns. It's just too expensive, and I know it will retrace. It as long as it's bought and sold by human beings, it will retrace. How far it will retrace, I don't know yet, as I haven't really looked carefully at Ripple, but I want to buy it at the right price. I'm not going to chase it. Okay, Eddie says Dogecoin is another altcoin is taking off and moving really good. There are projects to build a bridge between Dogecoin and Ethereum. It's based on Bitcoin and Litecoin. It is the fastest transaction coin and low fees. Listen, I'm going to look at it, Eddie. I appreciate that. I'm going to look at Dogecoin. George, that's a really good point. And let me read what George says. He says, what is your expectation of the type of pullbacks that might take place to reduce the cost of, say, Potcoin? And I can only imagine that the likes of Ethereum and XRP are as low as they can be at this point in time before the institutions take hold. And that, let me tell you, that's a point I didn't really drive home. We want to be in these coins before the institutional traders move in. It's only a matter of time before they're held by mutual funds and hedge funds, and they can be bought and sold on Ameritrade, on E-Trade. You're exactly right. And the reason I can't give you a price, George, is I have to look at the support and resistance levels of the coins themselves. I mean, that's technical analysis, so I can't tell you. I mean, maybe I would look, because I don't think Ethereum is coming back very far. I totally agree with you. But I would look at its next level of support and maybe look for it to pull back there. So I can't give you a price, but I look at those coins every day to look for a retracement of some kind. Now, with Ethereum, you could not argue with the thesis to just buy it, because 5 years from now, it could be worth $100,000 a coin. Listen, I couldn't argue with that thesis, because Ethereum is an incredible software platform. But I'm going to try to get it on somewhat of a pullback. And George, there's going to be enough investors in these coins who at some point are going to say, I want to cash out a part of what I own. And it's simply a matter of human nature. That's what causes retracements. Even in the best stocks, they pull back. I mean, Google and Amazon get retracements. Bad news happens. And I think from my standpoint, that's how I buy options. I traded multiple times Amazon, buying a spread every time on a pullback, knowing it was always going to go higher, and it always did. And they were tremendously advantageous and very lucrative positions. So I know Ethereum is never going to crumble. If I can just get a pullback to its next level of support, I'm going to go in. I'm not going to wait around very long for it. Trust me. I want to pull the trigger on it now. I told you I already own a lot, but I wish I owned a ton more. I've heard about that. You know, Edward, I have not heard of that, of accounts being frozen on Coinbase, but it's possible, but we don't really know what that was associated with. It may have been associated with some kind of illegal activity. I don't know. It's possible, though. I'll tell you this about Coinbase, and it's a problem. Like if you log in the middle of the day, it'll tell you that it's bogged down by so many transactions that it could take 45 minutes or an hour to execute a transaction. That's why you need Poloniex. You need at least one backup platform because Coinbase just grinds to a halt sometimes, and you just want to use another stable platform to do your transaction. I don't know about the frozen accounts, Edward. I don't. Poloniex, George. If you can't use Coinbase, Poloniex is a really good platform. It's very secure, very safe, and it offers you the ability to buy about 20 altcoins. It's a real good platform. I'm a member of Poloniex. I bought Omizi Go on Poloniex, and I really like it. And if you're not allowed to use that because you're a Canadian, which is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, just go to Poloniex. There is a fee for Coinigy. What the upgrade is, Eddie? It allows you to use advanced tools. It allows you to trade on it. And here's the thing that you may want. Like, it will only accumulate for you about 15 days of back data. So if you want to go back and you want to look at technicals going back a month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, then you have to upgrade and you have to pay for it. So it gives you a lot. That's the biggest thing. It also activates the platform as an actual platform from which you can get buy or sells. But for us, the only additional tool that you're going to get by buying it is the data, is the back data going back months. Right now, you can't get it. Yeah, no, Binance, George, is another good platform. Listen, I just picked my Coinbase and Poloniex. Binance is great. Thank you, David. Omizi in Japanese is store or Storgo. Just sign up for them, Mitchell. That's all. Rory will put in a purchase link. Everyone who signs up today will get my first newsletter. I plan on rolling out the portfolio fairly soon. I want to accumulate these coins as rapidly as possible. And I want to hold approximately 10 coins at the same time. And like I said, we're going to go from the safe coins that I want to get in a pullback to holding a couple of real speculative coins. I'm going to tell you when it's a real speculative coin. I want to get into Funfair and I want to get into Potcoin. I think they both have tremendous upside potential. And if you just buy $150 or $200 worth of it, it could be worth $5,000 or $10,000 someday. On a real speculative purchase, don't sweat it. And only And, it's the old story about it, but I mean it because I'm buying this too. I mean, what I would do, I would scale into these things in thirds. Buy your first third on a pullback, buy your second third on the next pullback, and buy your final third on your third pullback. And take it real slow. $50 a pullback, 75 a pullback, 100 a pullback. Scale into them slowly, and eventually, God willing, we're up 1,000%. Maybe we'll dump it on something like Potcoin or Funfair. But Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, we're going to hold and we're going to give to our kids, or we're going to cash out and buy a house. We're going to keep them forever. Because, like I said, eventually the institutional guys are going to start flooding this market with money. And if you think these prices are high, just wait. This is the beginning of 2018. For those of you who are still with me in 2019, I'm going to tell you I told you so. Because everything we purchase, I'm going to try to ensure is up an enormous amount, because I'm investing my own money. And I have to put that, I didn't put it on the newsletter, which was my error, but I have to do that in order for full disclosure. And I have to also state that my position is open at the time I make the recommendation. Because, I mean, I could have 500 million subscribers on a thinly traded altcoin and push it up on my own, and that's not legal. So I have to add that to the newsletter. It's on my options newsletter alert. Oh, great, David. David did a demo of the game Blackjack, and it was great. I really like that. I haven't done that, but that's really great, David. I mean, you're a whiz, David. I'm impressed. I'll tell you, I can't remember the name of the site, but they do video games. And I went on their site and I looked at the video games they had, and man, I needed a barf bag. The video games were horrific. And if you think that you can get millennials to use the blockchain to, I mean, they want to play a Call of Duty, and they're downloadable, and they're digital downloads now for most of them. You don't even have to go to the store. I mean, they want to play Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. I think that platform is doomed. And when I looked at the games that they had rolled out, they were ridiculously stupid. So it really does help to go on the website and look. I mean, their products were horrific. And remember something, you can short an altcoin. And if that coin ever gets any traction, there's a possibility I would recommend to short it. I'm not a big shorter, but I don't see any future in that coin whatsoever. But thanks, David. No, Greg, this isn't the one issue a month club, man. I sent out 200 option alerts newsletters last year. That was on average about 0.8 of a newsletter every single business day. Now, they're not going to be that common, but every time I see a purchase or a sell, I mean, one week there may be 3, another week there may be none, but it is not a one a month. That is not the way we're working. We're going to create a dynamic portfolio, and then we need to buy more on a pullback. I'm going to recommend it. If we need to unload something, we'll unload it. So you're going to get a lot of newsletters. You know what, Stephen? I am going to do ICOs, and I'm also going to do something I didn't talk about. And I'm going to be doing, I'm going to show it to you really, really quickly, because I don't want to, because I got to be somewhere. I'm going to die of, hold on a minute. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'm still working on it, but we are going to buy masternodes. They are, if you make a wise investment, The return on, this is a 658% return on investment. And not a lot of people know what masternodes are, but companies sell you masternodes and they give you a fixed return on investment for your capital. The problem with the masternode is there's a fixed cost. Like this masternode is $1,000. This masternode is $500. This masternode is $10,000. So, but I'm going to be doing a lot of research on whether or not it's advantageous for any of us to lock up some money in a masternode and collect 27% return on our money, which, let me tell you, you're not going to, I mean, that's going to be the total return you get on the S&P 500 trading in 2019 if every trade you take is perfect. You'll make about 25% if the S&P has a fabulous year. You're going to kill the stock market with that. So I'm going to be looking at buying and selling masternodes. I didn't really want to get into that, but we're going to get into that in our Saturday masterclass, because I want you to know every buy sell opportunity, so that if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, I got this great masternode. It's paying a great return. It's a really great transaction," you're going to know how to do your own due diligence, and you're not going to say, "Hey, what the heck is a masternode?" You're going to know. And definitely ICOs. For sure, there's an ICO right now coming out on Crypterium. And they keep sending me emails. And you know what I think of Crypterium? I think it stinks the place up. And if I would have liked it, I would have recommended it. I've done a lot of work on Crypterium. I don't think it's a great ICO. Now, the thing is, it may get bid up anyway. I mean, the way the market is now, every ICO, they take it and they move it up. You know, I don't know what the ICO price is going to be, but it may go up 10,000% and then become worth nothing in a few months. I have to see how the ICO matures. I don't have enough experience yet with that, but I think as a fundamental currency, it's going to be a stinker. But we'll see how people trade it. Oh, thank you, Jan. Okay, thank you, Frank. The ticker's OMG. Oh my God. Omisi Go. Thank you, Frank. Nice mnemonic. Oh my God. Thank you, Don. Thank you, David. Absolutely, Stephen. You can move. If you bought Bitcoin many years ago, you're in good shape, even if you bought $5 worth. So congratulations to you, Steve. But you can absolutely move it to Coinbase. Absolutely, you can move it from any platform. Okay, great. Thank you, Colleen. You just sign up, Mitchell. That's your first step. It really is. Like I said, we'll send you the alert from yesterday. Actually, I just sent it out this morning at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, Omnisi Go is down today. So it's a good buying opportunity, because I think as a long-term hold, it's a tremendously good altcoin. But that was the first thing you will get when you sign up for the cryptocurrency alert newsletter. Now, I can't. If you send me emails, I'll do my best to support you technically. But if you really want to know all the technical nuances of buying and selling cryptos, I would really recommend the master class, because it really is going to be intensive. No, I didn't talk about them, Lou, simply because I think it's too much to throw at everyone. Remember, it's already 3 o'clock, and this started at 1 and was supposed to go an hour. So if I started going into master nodes and purchasing and selling, we might as well have a master class, be here till 5 o'clock. So all I want you to do is I wanted to make you aware of them as an investing opportunity that I'm going to be looking into. And if you want to learn about masternodes, you'll learn all about them in the Saturday class. You know, Dovan, you're right. Dovan said the dollar is due to reset, so cryptocurrencies will take over. It's the future. I agree. Tony. Tony said, is there a crypto for the porn industry? Do you know something funny? If they created one, it would be $1 billion coin. I'm telling you. You should go to you should go to a venture capitalist with that, Tony. I think it's a great idea. Nobody wants to sign up for a porn website and put it on their credit card. Even in the even in that fake they bill you as humblebee.com or whatever. I think it's a great idea. No, Victor. I think Bittrex is a good platform. It's it's just a toss up. I'm familiar with Poloniex. I've seen it recommended multiple times in a lot of forums and a lot of posts. I'm most familiar with Poloniex, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Bittrex. I really don't. I don't like any of these to hold your money in any way. I mean, I would move your money. Well, you really can't move it if you're gonna stay with the altcoin. But you're gonna take it off the platform. Well, no, you're gonna have to leave it. But I think it's fine to leave it on Poloniex. I don't think there's a problem. Or Bittrex. I think it's safe. Okay, David. What we will do is we will have it. Okay, I'll have Rory go over the transcript of this, and I will make sure he pulls out your email address. So we will switch it there, David. I promise you. Okay, and we'll make sure. Okay, we'll get that. We'll get you into the SMS. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. David agrees with my choice of OmiziGO. And Gary writes, cryptos are replacing angel investors and venture capitalists, so the companies don't have to give up a percentage of their company. You don't have to have $1 million to be allowed to invest in a startup. You're absolutely right, Gary. I mean, it gives the small investor like you or I an opportunity to invest in a startup company. And that's what these that is exactly what these really are. I mean, at this point, they're startup tech companies. And it gives us an opportunity to get in at the bottom. And if we choose wisely, I mean, we can ride these things up. And that's what I'm looking to do. I mean, our Cadillac cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, we want to buy. And Ripple and a couple of others I think are must-owns. But then we've got 2 or 3 or 4 coins that we're going to take a bit of a risk on. And if we're right, we're going to have an amazing return. And I'm going to try to make us right as often as I can. Thank you. Gary said he's waiting for his Nano S to be delivered. Gary, you made the right choice. Every place I look recommends the Nano S as your digital wallet. I originally recommended a different one, but I was swamped with emails from that webinar, and then I went to the message boards, and it was all Nano S, Nano S, Nano S. You know what, David? I think that Jeff Sessions doing that is awesome. Because what he's going to do, if he tries to crack down on an industry, he will never, ever be able to control. It's just make it more advantageous to do your transactions without using fiat currency, your credit card, or a check. And people don't like to walk around with $300 or $400 in cash. If you're a venture capitalist, you're not going to, start up a pod company with $25 million in cash. I just think it's going to be better because at the end of the day, he won't win, and he's just going to drive the business into the digital currency arena. I don't, Sean. That's a great question. Of any platform that allows corporate accounts instead of just personals, and I don't know of one, Sean. That's a great question, though. Right now, I don't think they have the technology or the wherewithal to verify a corporation as being valid. And there's shell corporations and scam corps. So right now, the only thing you can do is do it as an individual. You know what, Robert? I think that that's something. I think hackability is something. Yeah, listen, you have to look into it. Every single thing is ultimately potentially hackable. But here's what we're looking to do. We're looking to make our purchases and keep our profit in our digital wallet off the internet. It's always possible, but here's what happens. Let's say Bitcoin gets hacked and $50 million worth of Bitcoin disappears. It doesn't come out of your account. I mean, they're not going to say, well, Robert, his account was hacked and his account's now zero. I mean, your money is safe unless they destroy Bitcoin, which can't happen. So a hack doesn't really compromise you as a small investor. And they're going to be very rare. But of course, everyone's going to train their sites, their atomic bombs on this, because that one guy pulled out $50 million worth of Bitcoin. That's quite a haul. But it's getting tougher and tougher. It's just a matter of what's the safest. Look, they can hang Bank of America if they want to. I know that. I know that, Sean. I know it's a problem, and I don't know how to get around it for you. I wish I could tell you otherwise. No, I know what Mitchell, can you? Hold on. Let me go back to your question. Because I think I missed it here. Okay. Listen. It's to sign up with Coinbase and to sign up with Poloniex, Mitchell. Get accounts on those two platforms. That's your first step. Now, it's going to take you about 48 to 72 hours to get activated. Maybe longer if they're busy, because you're going to put in all your information, you're going to upload your driver's license or whatever picture ID, and then they take time to verify. So you're going to be in the verifying mode. So if you're interested in doing it, you should probably do it today, and probably by midweek next week, you'll have an active account. If they're swamped, it may take longer, but it's probably going to be about 3 days. And you want to go on Poloniex and you want to go to Coinbase. George says he's going to sign up. Yes, George. Yes, George. We're going to take Bitcoin. You just got to mail them to me. You just got to put it in my digital wallet. That was really funny. And Eddie says it's an awesome way of investing without breaking yourself if it goes against you. And if you have some work, you're correct, Eddie. Listen, that's what we're looking for in Potcoin. We're looking to pay 25 cents or so for a potential investment that could go to $5 or $10. I mean, if it becomes the worldwide blockchain casino, it's going to be a monster. If Potcoin becomes the method of payment for cannabis transactions, it's also going to be a $5 or $10 coin. I mean, if we catch one like that, we're going to be in at the bottom. Sure, David. Rory, add a link to the options alert. Okay, he's going to send it to you now, David. Let me tell you something. I don't toot my horn much, but my options picks are amazing. But I spend so much time every night. I sit, I have a Benzinga data feed and I have an options monster data feed. And I go through every single option that crosses both data feeds every night. And I do it on my phone. And sometimes it drives me insane. But it really gives me tremendous insight into what everyone's trading. And that's why, I mean, you're great stocks that you can catch on a retracement and get crushed. But when you see big money moving into a stock, you got the strike, and you got the strike price in the month. I'll oftentimes create a spread, and I'm diverging. I don't want to do that, but I'll just tell you why I like spreads, David. I know exactly how much I can make and exactly how much I can lose. So I know how much money I need to allocate. If I buy a call or I buy a put, it's a little bit different. I love trading spreads, although I do trade calls and puts, but I don't trade complex spreads. I don't like the three legs. I only want to leg into two bids and asks. I always look for about a 2 or 3% pullback based on the delta of the spread. If we get executed, we're in and we're up for that day, and we're just killing it. And I'm dead serious. I can't. It would be unethical of you to tell you how much money I made this week on my own options recommendations, but it's a lot. I'm a happy camper today. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. Listen, when I was training, I had a guy who always used to tell me, quality is important, but I want a lot of it. That's what he always used to say to me. He was one of my professors. He always used to tell me, I love quality, but I want a lot of quality. Yeah, there is a recording, Tim. We'll send it to you. I can't do it here, Stephen, because I'm an hour over time already. I just can't. I'm sorry, Stephen. I wish I could, but I can't. No, there's no problem with Bittrex, Victor. None. Listen, I mean, some of these are just toss-ups. They really are. I think that I recommended Bittrex as the alternate to Poloniex in the newsletter. I put Poloniex as my first, and I think I put Bittrex as the alternate. So I considered them both to be equal. And that's why I gave two recommendations and not just one. I don't want people to think that if you don't buy these things on Poloniex, they're no good. I just don't want to put down a whole bunch of platforms because people are confused enough because it was the first volume and I'm already getting 100 emails. Not 100, but I'm already getting a lot of emails. How do I buy it? So I don't want to confuse people too much because a lot of people are making their first purchase and they don't realize that they have to wait to be authenticated, and they think they could just go on there and purchase it, and they can't. And they're sitting in that authentication process now, and they don't understand what's going on. David makes a great point. He said Funfair is also fully transparent. It also allows you to be the house on the site as well, and you don't just ream the customer like you do online and in Vegas. Very much seems to be a liberation in the online gaming space, and I agree with you, David. And those were facts that I do know, but I really didn't mention because I didn't put a slide up for Funfair. But that is correct. It's really transparent. It's really secure. It allows you to be the house or to be the player, and the fees are tiny. And I think it's got great upside potential. Maybe not as much as the porn industry, but I'm telling you, gaming and gambling are really big. Thank you, Greg. Greg said, I've attended many webinars on cryptos, and this was the best by miles. Thank you so much, Greg. You know why? Because I'm just a down-to-earth guy, in all honesty, and I'm an investor like you guys. I don't have $1 million, and my goal in this portfolio is to make a great return on my money because I take every investment I recommend. That's what makes it so important to me. It's not to get fees from you guys, although it's nice because I'm doing a huge amount of work. And, I'm a capitalist. But at the end of the day, I want to make money off this newsletter. And I make a ton more off of my options portfolio on my own money than I do on subscriptions. I can tell you that. That's where I make all my money. And I'll tell you just really quick, I don't want to bore people. The only reason I created an options portfolio is because I trade them. So I figured, you know what? I'm doing them. I do my own due diligence. This is the way I want to invest my money. Why not give the investments that I take in my own live portfolio and give them out and charge a tiny fee? That's how it started. Then I decided I want to invest in cryptocurrencies in my own live account. I had already invested in two, Ethereum and Litecoin. And I said, I want to do more. And so I just started killing myself on it. And I feel I have a really good grasp. I've listened to every single guru, subscribed to all their newsletters. I get 100,000 emails a day from all of them. And I just feel like, listen, I'm going to take the purchases that I recommend. And that's how it evolved. It's first and foremost for me to be successful in my own live portfolio. Nope, David, you've lost it. Unless there's no way to track and find it. Like if you put Bitcoin on a flash drive and lost the flash drive, it's gone. That's why a lot of people put their thumb drives in a safe deposit box. I'm real sorry about that. That is a shame, and I'm sorry. David's wife was paid in 10 Bitcoin, and it was sent to her by email, and she lost it. And I'm afraid there's nothing you can do. You know what? It's like being sent cash in an envelope, and you lose the envelope. There's no way to track it, David. None. No, listen, there's no such thing as a foreign stock. OMG is a cryptocurrency. It's an altcoin, and it can be purchased on many, many different platforms. It doesn't matter who originated it. It's created off of Ethereum, and it's bought and sold just like any other altcoin, Steve. It is being recorded. That's right, David. Masternodes.pro. As that is correct. I've got it up here right now. Let me put my glasses on. It's masternodes.pro. And let me tell you, buying masternodes can be very, very lucrative. And we are going to add some masternodes to the portfolio. I don't daytime trade them, Robert. I mean, if you're looking for a service that day trades them, I can't do it. Because I trade options and I trade futures in the morning. And let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of day trading cryptos because there's really not great charting platforms. Like I need to look at I have to do a multi-time frame analysis for me. Like our software always analyzes everything from multiple time frames. The software available from my training doesn't provide me with enough stability yet for me to feel comfortable day trading them. If the futures on cryptos had any volume, I would day trade those. But no one's. I mean, there's like 3 people buying and selling them. But that's the only reason I don't with cryptocurrencies. The platforms are still, even though they're getting more sophisticated, I can't pull out a Coinigy chart and look at 3 at the same time and do a multi-time frame analysis of price and really feel secure taking a quick swing trade. That's the only reason. It's being recorded. Absolutely. That's for it, Greg. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. Okay, guys. Yes, David says. David's really smart. He writes that what I love about being invested in crypto is price is only tied to money supply invested into the coin, not to earnings like stocks with price to earnings. It's like Chase Bank's market cap being valued in the trillions of dollars and deposit instead of shares times price based on earnings every quarter. That's a really, really smart comment, David. And you're completely correct. I mean, it's all supply and demand. There's no other factor involved. Yeah, that's correct. You can use a VPN, thanks, Gary, to hide your IP address. I like GDAX a lot, Eves, and I didn't want to throw it out there, but I'm getting an account on GDAX. And in fact, if you saw my drop down, I'll show it to you right here. There's GDAX. It's my next thing to do. This is. I'll show you. It's not turning over very fast. There's Kraken. Kraken's pretty decent too. I mean, these are getting good. I have not heard that, Wyman. And you know, I really have scoured the message boards for information on Poloniex, and I have not heard that. It doesn't mean it's not true. I'm just saying that I haven't heard that personally. And by no means do I think I know everything. I just haven't. Yeah, well, listen, this is my second tier. I would not recommend Kraken. I put it up just because I saw it. But my next stop is GDAX, which I really like. Sure. It's Funfair. Funfair. That's the casino coin game again, Colleen. I mean, I'm giving you guys all my secret picks here. And I want you to know I'm going to buy all these myself. Gary writes 1,000 times with $1,000 investment is $1 million. If you make 1,000% on $1,000, you have $1 million. Eddie says Potcoin is going to take off since California is legalizing it. I agree with you, Eddie. It's on my hit list. I mean it. I am looking for a small retracement, and we're going into Potcoin. Look, 5 years from now, marijuana is going to be legal in probably 10 states. And someday it's going to be legal in 50 states. And I think that people are going to want to do this transaction in Potcoin. And I really like it. It's only 30 lousy cents. Oh, it doesn't matter, David. David says, so I prefer debit cards or credit spreads. Listen. Here's what I do. If the price of the options are expensive, then I sell them and create a debit spread. I'm sorry, a credit spread. I'll take the money. If the price of the options are cheap, then I'll buy them and create a debit spread. It all depends on which one. You know, they're never perfect in pricing the calls and the puts on a spread. Sometimes there's a tremendous disparity. I mean, I found that a few times this year. So if I can find a cheap option spread, I buy it. If I can find a really expensive spread, I'll sell it and take the net credit. So I always look, and it makes no difference to me whether I create a credit spread or a debit spread. I'm just going to go to the best side. It's almost always going to be a bull spread, just whether it's a debit or a credit, is whether they're going to pay me a lot to sell it or whether I can purchase it cheap. It's separate. It's separate. If you want, Rory can put a link in. What we'll give it to you for our introductory price of $49. It's now formally $79. But it's I've already put out since the first of the year 3 options alerts. I mean, sometimes I put out 3 in one day because you heard a bit about my position on credit or debit spreads. I always sell into strength like we have now. I mean, the NASDAQ and the market have been charging up. I slowly liquidate. We hold between 15 and 17 options positions. And I know I'm probably boring some people to death. I'll just tell you this really quick. It's separate from cryptos. But people don't trade options correctly. What they do is they buy 3 positions or 4 positions, and it's a make or break deal. What I do is I create a diversified portfolio of options. Right now we have Raytheon, that's defensive. We have DuPont, that's defensive. We have our, I just scaled out of Alibaba. I just scaled out of Avago, our tech. I just scaled out of Micron on this massive rise on the internet, on the tech stocks. But I keep the portfolio diversified. So we have 15 plus positions and we roll on those. I cashed out 133 positions in 2017. The last position I closed was Home Depot for a very big win. And we closed out 133 positions. 73% were winners. 27% were losers. That's why we got 100% return on our money. And I always create a spread in which we risk less than we are able to make. If we risk 75 cents, we can make $1.10. That's what tilts options in our favor. And that's why 70% of people who trade options go broke. And we're making a killing, and we're going to do better in 2018. And I'm not tooting my horn, but let me tell you, I know how to trade options. And you know what? I offer an options thing, but I mean, one's coming up and it's sold out because I teach you how to trade options the way I do. And it's just very unique because it's very hard to diversify your portfolio. But I'll tell you in 30 seconds so more people don't go snooze away. You need 2 data feeds, Benzinga Pro and Options Monster, and you have to sit with it every single night until your eyeballs fall out and look at every single options trade that crosses. And you're going to start seeing people pounding the table, and you're going to go in, and it just sticks right now. I want to get into Domino's Pizza, but I can't do it. It's rocketing up. I didn't get in fast enough. I didn't get in fast enough on Humana. I wanted to buy a spread on Humana. I didn't pull the trigger. It went up $6 yesterday. But these were on my radar because of what I see in options activity. But most of them I'm in. But every now and then one runs past me. But I'm trying to pull the trigger on United Healthcare. But it shot up today, and I'm looking for a slight pullback. I didn't get in. Today, I got a spread on Bank of America because I've depleted the portfolio. It's only down to about 11 positions. It's a March spread. And I think I only paid 70 cents for it. And the upside is $1.30. So that's a great risk to reward. And I think Bank of America it doesn't have to rise much. All it has to do is go up 3.5%. And we will make 100% of our potential net credit. That is not much. And that's all I do all evening instead of watching television. My son thinks I'm a lunatic. I do make him dinner, though. He doesn't starve. Yes, there'll be a recording, Katafa. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you. Yes, Rory, would you post the options link? And Colleen, I do not kid you when I tell you my cash portfolio is up just over 100%. Because I am not a guru. I am telling you, I took every trade that I've recommended in the portfolio, not one more and not one less. And I exited the trade at the exact price I recommend in the newsletter. I don't get out first. I don't post until I post the price and send it out. I don't even put it into my cell phone. So everybody should have made right around that same price. And the only thing I always recommend is to asset allocate the same amount of money to every position, and you're going to get the 100%. That's what I do. I know how much money I want to put in every position. If it buys me 3 spreads, I take the 3. If it buys me 27 spreads, I buy 27. But it's the same amount of money I risk on every position. And that will duplicate my my performance exactly within 10 cents. Because there's always slippage on an exit or entry, but a lot of times you get positive slippage with options. I got a lot of positive slippages here. You get 8 or 9 cents better. Oh, Colleen, let me tell you, a Masternodes newsletter, no. When I learn enough about Masternodes and I'm getting there, I'm going to put that in the crypto alert newsletter, because I think that everyone in the crypto newsletter deserves to trade Masternodes because they're really crypto investments. It's just a different form of crypto investment, and I wouldn't charge another price for it. It's the same due diligence, just a little bit different. And if I teach you about Masternodes, you'll see. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, Eves, that's really great to know. July 1st, 2018, pot will be legal in Canada. I'm telling you, listen, it's. I mean, I'm very torn about whether to legalize pot or not because I have a 16-year-old son, and I'm a single parent, and and I'm always like, beating him with a baseball bat because it's rough in Florida. But I just think it's the wave. It's you can't stop it. You might as well legalize it. There's no reason to put people in jail for it anymore, and that's why I really like Potcoin. I think there should be a porn coin, though. I really do. I'd be the first one in that one. Mitchell, you know something? I don't like to throw out a amount for not the options portfolio. It all depends upon. Listen, you can start it with as little as $2,500, or you can start it with $25,000. It all depends on how much money you want to allocate to each position. Now, the only time you need $1,000 is when we buy a spread on Amazon or Google, and we do sometimes. And every time we've done it, it's been tremendously lucrative. So you don't want to miss out on those. And that's going to be one position that on one spread is going to cost you about $1,000. Now, it's not often that we do it. So that would be a position you'd have to stand down on unless you had about $5,000. But you don't need more than that, I'll tell you. Because the other parameter you're going to set is the minimum, obviously, is that on the real expensive positions, you're just going to buy one spread. Me personally, I would never buy more than one spread on Google or Amazon. If I can make $1,500 on a risk of $1,000 and everything else is tilted in my direction, I'll just take one. Because all I need is one wiseacre downgrade from some joker to knock the stock down $25 and blow the entire spread apart. I'll tell you just really quickly, I had that happen to me with Walt Disney. It was the day of options expiration, and I was 50 cents above my maximum net credit. And the morning of the options expiration, This guy blew Walt Disney away. It gapped down $4.50 and closed. It was the biggest single loss in a day that it had taken in like a decade. So I went from a 100% winner to a 100% loser, and I had loaded up on that Disney spread. It gave me such a heart attack when I saw what was happening in the morning. That's when I realized to never load up on more than one position, asset allocate them all equally. Because that was in 2015. I took such a beating on that position. I felt like personally going out to that guy and slapping him in the face. Because it was options expiration. He cost a lot of people money. But he made a lot of people money on the put side. But boy, did he kill me. So that's about, about what you need. Hold on one second. Let me read that. Sure, Steve. We're going to put the link in, Steve. If you want to buy the quarter, which we'll do for you, you have to call us because Rory or send us an email, and Rory will format a link for you. No problem with that. Okay. We got your email address. I'll have Rory pull it out. We'll send you a link. Well, let me tell you one thing, Steve. I'm completely transparent, and when I mess up, everyone's going to know it because I'm in the position. If we take a beating on a position, and every now and then we do, I'm not going to tell you that that we don't take a we take 100% loss. We have options that expire worthless. That's part of the game. I mean, if as long as you can stay 70% winners, 30% losers, and tilt the direction of the spread better than 1-to-1, you're always going to be very, very profitable. Yes, Lisa, that's what I look for. I look for positions with unusual, like what you do is you look at the open interest. And then you look at a position, like let's say the open interest on a position, there could be an open interest of 25,000 options. Then a 10,000 option trade is not such a big deal. But let's say that open interest is 500, and somebody goes in with a 5,000 contract position. Well, that's unusual options activity. And that's where you got to perk up and say to yourself, that's big money moving in. And the other thing that I don't do is a lot of people make very expensive trades on options expiring a year from now. And I don't want to lock my money away for a year. The one time that I did it this year in the portfolio, I bought the Home Builders ETF, and we made a killing on that. I bought it way out of the money for just a few cents with an 8-month expiration, and it blew through its strike price, and we made over 200%. But I just don't like to do it in general. And I shouldn't have sold it. It never stopped going up. But that's the key, Lisa. Look for the unusual options activity. I mean, here's one more thing. I'll give you a tip. In Benzinga Pro, they post anytime an announcer on TV, like Larry Kuho or those two brothers, the Najarian brothers. Anytime they make an options recommendation on any television show, it crosses the Benzinga wire. And I like to see what they're doing. Now, sometimes they're really wrong, but sometimes they're really right. And sometimes they'll they will personally go all in at a strike, and I'll create a spread. I like to see what they're doing. It's really, really helpful. Yes, David. I'll have Rory send you options alert 1, 2, and 3. Okay? No problem at all. No problem, David. Thank you so much, David. Stephen, listen, I can't do it today. I'll walk you through it on Monday afternoon. Okay? Trust me, you won't be out of the game. If you give me a call at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time on Monday, I will walk you through setting up a Coinbase account. But if you just go to Coinbase, it's you just put in your email address. It's super simple. But if you have problems with it, call me at 1 o'clock. I remember your name, Stephen. Stephen, I'm not going to mention your last name, but I'll remember it. I'll take your call. I'll walk you through it. Just have a driver's license handy. You have to have it, and you don't need it scanned. I believe now but you need a camera so that you can hold the driver's license up to the cam, and you can actually project your driver's license. That's what I just had to do with another account that I set up. Now, initially, Coinbase lets you upload your driver's license picture. I don't know if they've gone to the scan version yet, because I set up my account with Coinbase quite a number of months ago, but they're moving to that. But I'll walk you through it, okay, Stephen? Alice, between $2,500 and $3,500 is enough to really trade the options effectively. I'll tell you, you know what? I never give this out. I can't get this information. I was going to tell you how much I trade, but I shouldn't. But you're fine with that. But let me tell you, I don't trade an enormous amount of money because I have a college, I have a college education I need to pay for and all this stuff. But I trade pretty aggressively, but that's what I let you do along with me. And we're all going to rise and fall in the same canoe. I'll tell you that right now. And I don't like having to bail out my boat. I like having it. I like having it sail. Like, we're already up 5% in the first 3 days. I mean, it's an amazing amount of money that I have garnered in my own personal account. Now, I haven't looked at it since I started this webinar. It may be gone, but it was up an awful lot of money when I started it. Okay, Steve. We do have PayPal. We can take your PayPal. Rory will give you our PayPal account. We don't put it online anymore because we don't like it, but we can use PayPal. Okay, great, Steve. Sure, we'll send it to you, Harry. We'll send a recording to everyone. Sure, Lisa, no problem. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Great, Stephen. You have a Coinbase account. Okay, Eddie Stewart said, take a photo in a big mirror with the ID, and anything else needed will work for verification. Just make sure your fingers are not in the way. Okay, take a photo in a mirror with the ID, and that's really nice advice, Eddie. All right, listen, everyone, it's really been a pleasure. And it's like you guys are all my friends. If you want to come over for a barbecue this weekend, you're all welcome. We're serving hot dogs and hamburgers. So listen, whatever you do, I wish you all the best. I feel like we're all in the same boat. We're small investors. The big sharks are out to get us, and all the other little sharks are out to get us. Well, we're the little minnows. What we have to be the little minnow that eats the other little minnows. And what we have to do is we have to tail the sharks, and we have to do it in this cryptocurrency arena where we really can't do it yet because the big money isn't around. And eventually we will. But we know it will come. And when it comes, we want to be sitting pretty in the best coins we can be in so that when they swamp this industry with hundreds of millions of dollars, it pushes us through the roof. And that's what I'm going to try to do. That's my personal goal. That is my investing goal for 2018. Is to position us so that by 2019, when this massive rush of money comes, they will preferentially put the money in the coins we hold. That's the way I look at it. And let me tell you, a couple of years from now, a huge number of these coins will be gone. And there'll be a ton of people that blew their accounts trading them. And that will not be us. So take care, all. Have a great afternoon, and we'll send out the recording to everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Take care, all. Bye-bye.